You are listening to the Crazy Town Podcast, Season 1, Episode 1. Today we will be discussing what you can expect from this podcast going forward, how a childhood game in app form ruined my weekend, and how close the Browns are to absolute futility. All that and more today on the Crazy Town Podcast.
Bunyan, take 3!
Hello, and welcome to the first ever, I guess it would be the inaugural episode of the Crazy Town Podcast. My name is Jonas, and I will be your host. Most of the time, I will be your only host, but I do not know what the future of this podcast holds, so in the future, there may be 2 hosts or 3 hosts. There's no way to tell. I do want to thank you for taking the time to listen, so I will get into a little bit about what this show is and what you can maybe expect from it in the future. Basically, I'm just a random guy, and this is going to be my thoughts, as crazy or rambled or not able to be telling what the hell I'm talking about as it goes. That's what it's going to be. And that is really about me. But as far as what you can expect from this podcast, I honestly have no idea what you can expect. One man alone with his brain can be a dangerous thing. Then you give him a microphone and the ability to say whatever the hell he wants, and then it opens up a Pandora's box. I'm random. I ramble. I tend to go on tangents, so I have no clue at all where my brain will lead me on this adventure. And lucky you get to be here along for the ride. Now, this is my first time ever doing a podcast. It is something I've always been interested in, but I really don't have any plans other than to fucking talk and bullshit ramble through whatever. But I'm going to let it evolve naturally, see what it turns into, let it take on a proverbial mind of its own. There will be no specific running week-to-week topics. Since I'm so random, I would rather just see where it goes. I may have some ideas of what I'm going to talk about, but that is about it. So the plan for now is to have one every 2 weeks or so. Maybe I'll get to where I do it weekly. Maybe it'll be, every 3 weeks. I'm not really sure. But that is about what you can expect from this podcast. I know I'm leaving it very vague, but in my head, I really have no fucking clue what this is going to turn into. So you get to ride along on my experiment. I do very much appreciate you taking the time to listen. It does mean the world. I also wanted to thank Brick Stonewall and the United States of Awesome for letting me use their music for my intro song. You can find them on Spotify. Once again, it's Brick Stonewall and the United States of Awesome if you want to check them out. But I do really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me, and that is about all the information that I have about this show at this time.
Where am I?
So, I'm not that big of a mobile gaming person. Back when smartphones first came out, I probably downloaded every damn game at the time. I was also younger. I had more disposable time to do bullshit and waste my life. But as of right now, I maybe play a game or 2 here or there if I'm at a doctor or some shit while I'm waiting. But the other day, I was bored at home and I figured I would search around through the App Store, and I found Scattergories in the App Store. I'm not sure if many of you know what Scattergories is. It's kind of an older board game, but basically there's a dice that has all the different letters of the alphabet, And then you have these topics, things such as an island destination, a mammal, something you wear, bullshit like that. So when you roll the dice, it gives you a letter. Every single answer has to have that letter as the first word, has to start with that letter. And you play it with, 2 people, 10 people, whatever. But every unique answer you have, one that someone else doesn't have, you get a point. You play to so many points, 20, 60, fucking, I don't know. But for some reason, when I was a kid, I thought this game was absolutely the best thing in the world. I loved playing it. And so to see it as an app, I was entirely sure that they ruined it because everything else has been ruined. But I figured I would give it a shot. And little did I know it would consume my entire goddamn weekend. And I'm going to explain to you how that happened. So when I got the app, the first thing I noticed is that it wants you to sign in through Facebook, which is kind of confusing to me. First off, I don't really use Facebook. I haven't in years. But I don't need the game to report to everyone in my fucking life that I had a unique answer in Scattergories. That's just not something that I'm really into, I guess. I don't know why anyone would be into that, but to each their own, I guess. So one of the first things I started to notice as I started playing through a few games is this game has an autocorrect feature, which is kind of fucking weird. Now, it's not the traditional autocorrect feature that you would think of. It's not like as you're spelling something out, it tells you what it is. What it does is it takes the answer that you put in and then it changes your answers to something else. I mean, it's pretty fucking great because when I get topics like an artist or something like that, I can just put some random name like Hanson or anything like that. And sometimes it'll change it to an actual artist name and give me points, which is fucking amazing. Now, on the other side of that, I'll put in a correct answer and it will fucking completely change it into something else, which will make it a duplicate because it turns somebody else's answer into that and I won't get any points. So just like just about every other game in the world, it is a cheating piece of shit. But I used it to my advantage immediately as I tried to just put random answers for anything, and it did definitely win me some fucking games. I played this a little bit, and then after I got a couple levels or whatever by playing a few games, I realized that they have tournaments in this. Now, this is the type of game that takes coins. It's one of those microtransaction fuckers that, you cost so many coins to play a game. When you run out, you can always pay money for more coins. So it's just meant to make you spend money for people who are impatient. Basically, that's the bottom line. So I started playing this tournament, and there's a couple days left in it, like I don't know, 3 days or whatever. I play through until all my coins are gone, and I realize that I'm in third place in this tournament. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, whatever. So, you know how that shit goes. Like, most of those online games, there's a million people playing all the time, and, you fall way down the ladder quick. So I just say whatever, and I set it down, screw off, do whatever around the house. So I end up picking it back up later and realize that it regenerates your coins up to, I think, 200 maybe. Now, it costs like 50 for a game or something like that, So immediately I'm like, well, shit, I'm already in third. Let's keep going. So I play through my coins. And by the time I sit down and get done playing for that day, I think this was Friday, I was in first place in this tournament. I had 900 points. The second place had like 400 or something. So I had a good lead. Now, I realized that if you come in first on this tournament, you get a little trophy that like forever stays over your little avatar. But since I didn't sign in with Facebook, it's not my Facebook picture. It's just like the silhouette of a man. But immediately, now my competitive side is kicked in. And I'm like, oh, I want a trophy next to my avatar. That's really awesome. Even though it has no fucking bearing to life. But now I want this trophy. The next day comes along. I go on, I check. I'm still in first. And it just so happens it's a Saturday, I think. I don't have anything going on. The wife is sick. We're literally just sitting around the house doing jack shit. So I keep playing throughout the day off and on. I keep getting these new coins, and I keep playing this. And as the day progresses, when I lay down to go to sleep or whatever, I mean, I'm pretty well in the lead. And then I figure out that I can watch ads on this game to get more coins. So you basically can play endlessly if you're willing to sit and watch ads for other fucking dumb mobile games that are going to waste your damn time. I lay in bed for a while and watch some ads because at this point I'm fucking hooked, right? And at the end of the night, I have 3,300 points. In second place is someone, their name is Cuppy Cake. There's a picture, it looks like it's a 15-year-old girl, it looks like it's hooked up through Facebook, because it looks like a legit picture of some chick or whatever. She has 1,650 points, so I'm like double the points for this bitch. And there I go calling a teenage girl a bitch. Well, fuck her anyway, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool, I got this. Tomorrow the tournament's over, whatever. I wake up the next day, and this bitch has 3,600 points. Now, to put this in perspective for you, the maximum amount of points you can get in a game is like 60. Sometimes with bonus answers that are unique, you get 62. For this chick to gain 2,000 points overnight, had to play quite a while. And so I wake up and I'm like, ooh, she must want the trophy too, because obviously it's important to her too, and everyone else in the world, or no one. And, I'm like, oh, well, this bitch has lost her damn mind if she thinks she's going to beat me at this Scattergories tournament. So now I need this trophy. I am no way going to let anyone beat me, especially some little high school girl or someone who decided to sit around all night playing to get in first. Then it's Sunday. I have nothing to do still. The wife is sick. I'm watching football. I find myself sitting around all day watching ads. Like, I'm not necessarily playing the game, but I'm watching ads and just letting my coins stack up because I notice that this chick keeps playing throughout the day. So I finally, at like 7 o'clock, I think the tournament ends at like 10 or some shit, I decide to start playing. So I play and I play and I play, and she's actually playing at the same time, gaining stuff, and then I notice that she quits. It's probably bedtime. She probably has to go to high school in the morning. So I was like, I probably could let her win, and then I decided absolutely fucking not. So I made sure I got like a 700-point lead on her, and then about an hour before the tournament stopped, I quit. I knew she wasn't going to come back and win. Now, this is why I hate apps. This is why I hate these stupid games. They're designed specifically for this reason. You feel like you need something, whether it's to build a city in a SimCity game, or you need a fucking trophy, or Candy Crush, or whatever the hell it is. It doesn't matter to anyone in the world. No one. No one thinks you're cool because you have the trophy. Nobody thinks you're cool for any reason to do anything with this fucking app, especially if you're posting it to your Facebook wall through Facebook, through this stupid app. So I don't know why people do it, but in my mind, it was the most important thing at that moment. Like, I had to get the trophy at all costs, even if I had to make a 15-year-old girl cry. But I got the trophy. I have it around my name as we speak. And I also haven't played the fucking game since the morning after the tournament. So there you have it. That's how I ruined my fucking weekend to get a trophy that no one cared about, and now that I even have, I don't care about. Thank you, Scattergories. Thank you, whoever made the game. You are in my shit list. We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. The Cleveland Browns are closing in on something that's ever only been done one other time. They're going for the 0-16, no-win season. Absolutely the worst possible record you can ever have. Now, oddly enough, the other team that has done this is Detroit, someone who is equally as awful of a city. Now, I'm allowed to say that. I'm a lifelong Browns fan, unfortunately. I grew up near Cleveland, lived near Cleveland for many years, no longer live there. I was a season ticket holder. Don't ask me why. We basically would just get drunk and not care about the game. So I'm used to them losing. I'm used to everything that can possibly go wrong going wrong. I'm used to terrible seasons, 2 wins, 3 wins, maybe 5 wins occasionally. But I really, really do not want this 0-16. I mean, I know the Cavs just won a title. The Indians got to Game 7 of the World Series, probably one of the best fucking baseball games I've ever watched, and I don't ever watch baseball. Maybe that's why it was one of the best games ever, but I think the fans in Cleveland are actually embracing this. Now, I don't know if that's the right word, but at least one fan is embracing it. I don't know the guy's name. I don't have it written down. But there's one guy who on Facebook started like an event page or a fan page or some shit as a joke, saying that if the Browns lose every single game and go 0-16, that he was going to organize a parade, like the anti-championship parade. And now this shit's actually gaining ground. Like, I read the other day that he is having meetings with like city officials and things like that, and they've secured permits and private security firms. I'll go ahead and post the links to those articles on the blog website here a little later, so you guys can check those out if you want. But as a Cleveland fan, I'm a little torn about this. But the more I think about it, the more I think it's an absolute fucking great idea. And let me tell you why. 0-16 is an awful thing to happen. It is like as terrible as you can possibly be. Now, the Browns I've watched all the Browns games this year, unfortunately. They don't look as bad as the 2008 Lions. They looked completely fucking terrible. I mean, the Browns, there was a couple games that they could have won, but they just Brownsed it up in typical Browns fashion and lost them. But I think this needs to happen. I think at this point, I may actually be hoping for it. I mean, they play the Bengals this weekend, and their last 3 are like the Bills and Pittsburgh and somebody else they have no fucking chance in beating. So if they don't beat Cincinnati this week, which they do sometimes beat Cincinnati once a year, I think this is going to happen. But here's why I think it's a great idea. Here's why I think it needs to happen. This will get coverage. If the city of Cleveland is willing to gather in the masses to celebrate an 0-16 season, I don't know if it will, but it should embarrass the shit out of the Cleveland Browns. If I was a Browns player, going 0-16 is bad enough, but if the fans of my city held a futility parade in our fucking honor, it would piss me off. It would make me feel like shit, and they are going to show it all over SportsCenter. You know that they will show it, and maybe, just maybe, that can spark something in the Browns that can make them not want to be the most terrible fucking team ever and make it so someone actually is proud to call themselves a fan. Even though I am proud, it's just like that. You tell anybody you're a Browns fan and they go, oh, I'm sorry. And that should be the fucking response that they give you, because everyone should be sorry that you're a Browns fan, because it's like rooting for someone who you know is going to lose. So it's like your life is one giant letdown. So maybe if you celebrate the letdown and rub it in the team's face at how terrible they are, maybe they will start to feel terrible about themselves. I don't know. Nobody wants to come here anyway, so it ain't going to change anything. So, but I digress. I am torn. I'm rooting and not rooting for this. So I guess either way, I'll be happy, because it'll either be even more of an embarrassment to the Browns, or they'll win a game and then they won't tie the worst record ever. But I give kudos to this man who wants to put this in place and who wants to take the time to rub it in the Browns' faces that they are as terrible as they are. So I'll let you think about that for a second, and the Crazy Town podcast will be right back. All right, I got a few extra minutes here, so I wanted to touch base on one other story today. The British heavyweight boxing title. I don't care about boxing. I don't really know anything about boxing very much. But I guess this guy's name is Dylan White. Dylan White was going to fight a man named Derek Chisora. It's spelled Dereck. So I don't know. I'm sure it's pronounced Derek. It looks silly, but I saw a video. Actually, it was a GIF image online, and I found the video. I'll post the little GIF clip plus the link to YouTube if you want to watch the full fucking fiasco on the blog when this episode's done. But these guys had their press conference. They're supposed to fight, I think, this weekend for the heavyweight title, the British heavyweight title. So you know how fucking prestigious that is, or not. But so I guess during this press conference, the heavyweight champion, Dylan White, told this other dude that he would attack him if he saw him after the fight. I'm not really sure what that means, but this fucking Derek Chisora dude lost his shit. He starts pounding the table, and in like a fit of rage, he picks this table. It's like a regular, like, fucking big ass wooden table, and almost like one hands it like the goddamn Hulk up over top of some other people and like lands like on this dude or on his promoter or somebody. He just fucking like whips it. You have to go check this out. It's fucking ridiculous. So this dude freaks out, and then he's like storming around like a goddamn crazy animal afterwards, screaming and yelling about whatever and all this. I found the article about it afterwards. So this dude said that he was threatening him or whatever, said he would attack him afterwards or whatever. So, but now because of this fight on Saturday is no longer for the title. So this dude screwed himself out of his chance at the heavyweight title because he can't control his fucking temper, because he's a goddamn Neanderthal fucking guy who fights for a living and can't control his emotions for 5 seconds and doesn't know that it's not appropriate to wing a fucking table through the air at another man. Like, I know sometimes I may have bad judgment, but never in my mind would I think that it's cool to throw a table over top of like 5 innocent dudes that have nothing to do with anything to try to hit a man that's obviously far enough away that like you shouldn't throw a table. Like, a table should never be thrown, period, let alone over top of other people trying to hit one random man at the end of the other table. So now this guy has a 2-year ban. It's like held over his head though, kind of like if you get in trouble in the court and they put that shit over your head while you're on probation. They suspend the sentence, so to speak. But he has a 2-year ban over his head if he commits any other offense. He lost his title shot, who I'm sure he fucking worked hard to get to the point where he earned a title shot. And he also has to pay $25,000 fine to, I don't know if it's the boxing commission or who the hell ever. And he has to pay $5,000 in costs. I didn't know that a table cost $5,000. It didn't look like the table was broken. And he didn't break anything else. He may have like knocked a curtain down or something and like their fucking promotion set up behind the thing. So it cost this dude $30,000, a title shot, and a potential 2-year ban from the thing that he uses to support himself because he decided to throw a fucking table like a major idiot. I don't know what this dude's problem is. I've never heard of this Derek Chisora guy. My guess is no one else will hear from him soon, because if he's willing to do that, I'm sure his maniac ass will do something else to get the 2-year ban put in. By then, he'll be hooked on heroin. He'll be fucking dudes under a bridge for fucking some ramen noodles and smoking fucking Black and Milds, fucking 30 a day to support his fucking habits of whatever. So I wanted to at least touch base on this. Do definitely go to the website and check it out. It is pretty fucking ridiculous. And that is just about everything that I have for today. I do, once again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this. I really don't know what to expect from this, and I had no idea what I was going to do when I sat down. But if you're still listening, probably the two of you that maybe have made it all the way through, I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I do wish that you would like this on SoundCloud, forward it, share it, do whatever you can to help me get this out to other people. Any feedback would be great. You can email me at crazytownpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at the Crazy Town Pod. It's not podcast, just pod. I can't fit cast on there, and Crazy Town Podcast I didn't think would fit either, or something like that. I do have a website for the podcast. It is thecrazytown.com. Once again, thecrazytown.com. And as always, you can check us out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/thecrazytownpodcast. Thank you so much for making it through this inaugural episode of the Crazy Town Podcast, and I hope that everyone has a great weekend, great night, great life. I'm out.